I'm going to spotlight myself so everyone can see me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Yummy Monday. It's something we've been doing weekly since actually, I think, last August. So I see some new faces. I see some returning faces. My name is Janet Forrest. I'm one of the adult program coordinators here at the Nantucket Athenaeum. And tonight I invited Mitko Demitrov, but Mitko we call him. And he's going to be talking to us about mushrooms, but he also has a lot of hidden talents. So we can talk about that later. But without any further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Mitko.
Hey, everybody. So it's, I started with those mushroom things like a couple of years ago. I used to go a lot back home in Bulgaria since a little kid, collecting mushrooms, herbs. Every summer for the summer vacation from school, I go to my grandparents' village and just every day back in the woods, in the rivers, in the lake, all the time. So the oyster mushrooms, a couple of years ago, I saw this video on YouTube that a guy used coffee grounds to raise mushrooms. There is a bunch of videos actually now online you can find, but I even got some to show you exactly. I got a little cluster right here, oyster mushrooms. So the thing is, everything should be really sterile. You have to get like alcohol at least 91%. So everything should be sterile. And
can you hold them back up again?
Yep. Yeah, I'll show you. So you're gonna need the very bottom of it. You can see actually some of the straw right here still. They raising those on straws, I guess. And the little, I'm not sure if my camera is really good. Let's see if you can see the little white fuzzy things. Probably not. But the thing is that the very bottom of it, like a 1/4 inch, you cut only this part. You can see the little mushrooms growing around. So you cut this part right here, and you need like a container. You can pour like an ounce of alcohol inside the container, like a jar, mason jar, shake it really good and dump it, let it dry. And after that, you put like only like an inch of coffee grounds right there. And you place the steam, this little thing in the bottom of the coffee grounds, and cover them just a little bit with more coffee grounds. And you're gonna need like a little piece of cheesecloth or coffee filter that you're gonna place on top of the jar so they still can breathe, but don't get contaminated. And it's kind of slow in the beginning, probably will take a couple of weeks, but you're gonna start seeing this white, fuzzy, like a spider web thing coming from the steam. And when you see that, you can start adding like an inch of coffee grounds every week. And you're gonna see, if you wanna post, there's a picture with the jar right there, how it's look.
Sure, yeah, let me get that posted.
There is a one with the coffee filter and one with like little mushrooms actually growing.
Oh, I think I see it. Okay. Let's see. Share this. Oops, did it work? I think it's sharing now. Is that it?
Yep. This is like a full jar already. This one is ready to put it in straw. That's how it's gonna look when you finish. It will take probably like a month. That's the mushrooms right there. There's another one with the little mushrooms with the jar. Do you got this one? Yep. You can see the little mushrooms right there growing in this one. Actually, with this jar, I was late. I supposed to put the coffee grounds in straw before they start growing. So they just start growing and I let them grow in the jar and cut them and cook them straight from the jar. But usually when the jar is ready, like this, all white, it's gonna stop smelling like coffee. It's gonna smell like mushrooms. So you get like a straws. I went and I got it from Island Lumber, I think. like the whole bell with straw, and you have to boil them to sterilize them, squeeze them really good, and after that mix them with this white stuff and put it in a, can you put the picture with the plastic bag?
Yep. Let's see.
And and you put it in the straw mixture with the coffee grounds, you put it in a bag and you cut little holes on the side. And I have one of those little spray bottles full with water, and 2-3 times a day you just go and just spray those little holes to keep it moist. And you're gonna see how the straw is gonna turn white like this. It's gonna look like cotton candy or something, and they're gonna start growing. Those are my very first project right here, this bag. And the good thing is that when you grow them like this, they're perfectly clean. You don't have to wash them or anything. You just cut it in straight cooking.
And when you do it, the bag, you only cut like little slits, right? Like they're not.
Yeah, a little sharp knife, and you just cut maybe like a dozen little cuts right there, like an inch, something like that, and keep them moist, and they're gonna start growing. And actually, when they grow, after that, you can just take a little piece of those straws right there, mix them with the new one, and you can start just have them like a bunch of bags like this. So you don't have to grow them from coffee grounds, to take like a month and a half to go to here. You just, when you have a bag like this, you can split it and mix it with more straw, and you can have like 5-6 bags, something like that. And actually now, this is my first year, I try to inoculate some logs. I went to the dump from all the landscaper guys. They throw this when they cut clean properties around, and there's a nice tree stumps right there you can have, and you drill holes in them, and they sell these little plugs or grain, and you just inject this inside the tree stumps, and once you inoculate them, they can grow mushrooms for like 6-7 years, for a long time. And it's one of the easiest mushrooms actually to grow, the oysters. The red caps probably is the easiest. Those are probably the second easiest, the oysters.
Can I flip through some of the pictures? Do you want to go one by one?
Yeah, if you can show the those are the wine caps. Those are really easy. You just need, for those, you just need some, I'm a carpenter, and I'm using clean maple dust saw or oak, and you just buy its grain that it's already with the, what is called mycelium for mushrooms, I think it's called. And you just mix the sawdust with this one. It costs like $25, something like this online. And they're gonna start growing. If you plant them in spring, in the fall, you're gonna have like a bunch of them. Those are really easy. You can put the other picture with the, you can see there's the one with, you can see almost the whole field.
And do you have to be careful harvesting them? Like you don't want to over harvest them, right? Or does it matter?
No, as soon as they grow, you have to harvest them because something start eating them. So I set up one trail camera back there, and the little rabbits actually figured out that they can eat them. And if I don't go, like as soon as they show up, the rabbit's gonna eat them. Yeah. And that's the shiitake. I just snapped this picture a couple of days ago. That's the first shiitake. Those are the logs I'm getting. And I just pre-drill them, and you plug them with those little plugs. And I think it's take like almost 10 months for the shiitake to start growing. But once they start, those logs, they're gonna produce for at least 7 years. They're gonna produce mushrooms.
And do you have them just sitting in your yard?
Yeah, actually, I'm really lucky. The property I live is huge. and I have this right behind my quails and my chickens, this bushy area. So I went with my chainsaw and I cleaned very bottom of it, but the trees are still like a canopy. So it's really shady right there and moist, and it's perfect for mushrooms.
And for the shiitake mushrooms, like how did you grow those? Did you do it the same way you would do an oyster mushroom?
Those you need those logs that you can get from, I usually go in a dump wherever all the landscapers throw the bushes right there, and I just get, if I'm lucky, sometimes I can fill my truck with stuff. And I just there's a do you know Alden? I forgot his last name. He's my neighbor. He lives down Duke's Road here. I borrow his tool. It's like little inoculation tool. It looks like a syringe, and you can get even those plugs or the sawdust, and you just inject the sawdust inside those tree stumps. You pre-drill them with like a 1/4-inch drill bit, and you inject the sawdust. And after that, you have to take like wax, like candle, like the clear wax for candles, and you melt it down, and you seal those holes with the wax, and just put them in the shady area right there. Keep them moist, and they're gonna start growing.
And how long does it take to know if it worked or not?
These logs right here, I inoculate them last in March, I think, March or April. It was right after the pandemic start. I was having a lot of free time. And it's really easy.
What oops, sorry, hold on. There we go. And what makes some mushrooms easier to grow? Like you said, the oyster mushrooms are really easy, the red caps are even easier. What makes some mushrooms easier to grow than others?
I guess just the type of mushroom itself, like those with the logs, it's harder for the log, I guess, to get inoculated. So those logs have to be cut at least 3 to 4 weeks probably already to be cut before you inoculate them, because either way the wood itself have like some kind of protections for those fungus, and if you inoculate them too early, the wood's gonna kill the fungus, I guess. Mm-hmm. And it's with this the wine caps, the red caps, and the oyster, you use this sawdust, which is much easier to mycelium to attack, I guess, and much faster. I guess the materials they growing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's see.
And I got a bunch of portobello now growing around my chickens this summer. And there's a more, I'm not sure if you guys collect in the wild, but the state forest here, where is the scout camping or whatever it's called?
Oh yeah, the Boy Scout.
Boys, yeah. I usually go summertime right there, late summer, and collect those porcini mushrooms. I don't know if you can see them. There's all over the place, but most of them are not edible. If you probably, if you go walking and you kick one of those, they turn like a bluish, greenish, bluish color if you broke them apart. Those are not good. But if you, when you broke them, if they keep the same color like white, it's good for eating. Also, if the snails eat them, it's good too.
Let's see. Okay, so we saw that one. These are more wine caps, right? So
yeah, those are more wine caps. Yeah.
You have these growing in your yard?
Yeah. This is my yard. This is all sawdust, and actually, it's supposed to be little like those wood chips You know, when the landscapers clean and they have these shredders or whatever call them that make the shred the branches. So this chip, I think, is much better for those mushrooms. I just got the whole load, and they bring it for free if you have where to store it.
Yeah.
Either way, they have to pay to dump it.
Someone has a question, and by the way, everyone chime in. I did mute everyone just to avoid distracting noise, but go ahead and unmute yourself if you have a question. And Joanne was asking what kind of log that was.
Oh, the log, it's supposed to be from like how to say, not evergreen, no pine, should be like oak or maple, this kind of wood.
Is that just a hardier wood? Because pine.
Yeah. And cherry, I got a bunch of cherries now. Yep.
My sister in Boston has oyster mushrooms growing naturally on an oak tree in front of her house. Do you find many of them out here?
I never found oyster here.
Yeah.
On the island. Back home, there's a bunch of them, especially like the fallen trees. When they start rotting, you can find them around them a lot.
Yeah. And I have a friend who finds porcinis out at Ram Pasture. There's a pine grove. There are pine groves out there, and they like to be on the pine needles in areas like that. So it's interesting. This is fascinating. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. There was one more kind of, I cannot remember the name of those mushrooms. They look like really kind of like a pointy. What was the name of those? Those are the most expensive one. Like a 1 ounce dry mushrooms cost like a $40, something like that. And they grow here.
Porcini?
No, not the porcini. Was something different. Let me see if I can.
And do you ever dry your mushrooms?
Actually, I was planning for this fall, but I didn't get lots of mushroom in the fall. Most of them was in the spring, but I have a dehydrator and I'm gonna dry some this year. I usually dry meat.
Someone had a question about, they just started an oyster kit, and I did see in the New York Times, I think it was last week, they had a whole article on how people are growing mushrooms. But they wanted to know, how long do you think it would take for a mushroom to appear in the mushroom kit?
Probably it will take time. The oyster mushroom probably is the fastest one, because you started in controlled environment in the house with the coffee grout, so it's gonna take from start to finish, if you're lucky, maybe 2.5 months. It's a fun project because you can see all the things happening.
And if you're doing it in your kitchen, it doesn't really matter when you start, right? Because you're doing it indoors.
Oh yeah, anytime. You can go tomorrow. And actually, I tried. They have in Stop and Shop those little packages with some kind of really tiny mushrooms, some kind of Asian mushrooms or whatever they call them.
Enoki.
I tried to do it with the coffee grounds. It was like a couple of weeks ago, but I didn't clean it with alcohol. I was lazy, so I didn't sterilize everything and got moldy.
Yeah, I tried it. When you first told me about this, I went running home and grabbed a mason jar and got going, and it got moldy. I didn't know to put the alcohol in, so I know to do that this time.
Yeah. You have to clean everything, like the jar, the knife, the coffee filter. You can soak it and let it dry, put it with the rubber band. Everything should be sterilized. And because after one start growing this mycelium, the white stuff, you're gonna, you have to take the coffee filter and add more coffee grounds, and you have to be really careful. If you see that this green mold start growing somewhere, just start from the beginning.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's frustrating because you can wait for like a month, maybe 4 or 5 weeks, and you have the full jar, and right in the end, if you get this green mold, and it's all gone. It's gonna, you have to throw it away. So you have to be really. Actually, once I did it without alcohol, I was just really careful, kind of around everything clean. I guess I was lucky, but usually it's good to sterilize it.
Yeah. Tell us, I'm going to go through these pictures so people can see them again, but tell us more about what you have in your yard, because you have chickens, you have quail. Tell us about what you
Yeah, I have quails. I have like 100 of them, quails, and collecting bunch of eggs. Summertime, I'm getting like 40 eggs a day from the quails. And the chickens, I was having like there was 2 chickens. One was, I guess, was old and died right away when I took it from one lady from Wisconsin. And I just got lucky. I got a really nice chicken coop from one Brazilian guy here. He was moving out. So I took it for free, and I got more chickens now, and they just start laying eggs like a few weeks already, getting like 4 or 5 eggs a day. And I have beehives too. Not now though. I made a big mistake last year. I let them collect. I tried to. I got advice from a guy here on the island to keep them at least till the end of October, before the last harvest of the honey, and was too late, and they got attacked from other bees, and they stole all the honey and they killed my bees. So I don't have any right now, but I just ordered 4 bee families a couple of weeks ago, and they're going to be here in the beginning of April. So I'm going to be ready for next season.
It is amazing that they can just mail you bees.
Yeah. It's everything. My first quails, I got them in the mail, and the chickens.
And do your quail, so do you breed the quail? Like, you don't get more quail, they breed, right?
Actually, I 2 years in a row already. I have small incubator, and I hatch them myself. Yeah, and I had some chickens last summer, and I think like 3 batches of quail. It's a small incubator. I'm putting like 20 eggs, and I'm getting from 20 eggs like 15 chicks. Yeah, and those are really good tasting mushrooms, the wine caps. Really fast growing, really easy, and they just keep going. And once, if you have like the small area in the yard to start them, they're gonna go everywhere from there. If there's a dead leaves from the trees and stuff, they're going around.
But they need shade, right? Or no?
Yep. They need shade and humidity.
Someone wanted to know if the pointy mushroom you're describing was a morel.
Yes, the morels, yep. And I saw people collecting them here on the driveways of some of the properties, and I used to collect them back home, and they're really delicious though, really good, but I never saw them here.
They were expensive ones.
Yeah, those are the most expensive I'm seeing. The porcini, those are expensive too. If you go and Stop and Shop, they have them dry.
Right. Yeah.
Was a good price though, but they didn't taste like the fresh mushroom.
Yeah.
And that's my coffee maker right here. You can see I'm drinking a bunch of espresso, so I'm collecting the coffee grounds from this one. And the spray bottle right there, the little.
Yeah, to keep them wet.
Yeah.
What do you do with the quail eggs? How do you use them?
I summertime when they start laying, I sell them. And there was a point last summer, there was something wrong with the Facebook. They didn't take my ad. I trying to put ad in the consignment, and I was having like almost like 1,100 of them in my fridge in the basement. Bunch of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And can you sell to restaurants and stuff?
The only place it's Lolo.
Mhm.
Actually, I bring them some this weekend. I guess for Valentine's Day they need some. But I drove couple of dozens around, the restaurants downtown, but nobody ever called me. I guess it's if they make like some kind of special thing just for weekly maybe. But the Lolos, they use them. They have this sushi roll that come with the raw quail egg on top.
Yeah.
So they need them more regularly.
Can you use them? They're smaller, right? Than your.
They're really tiny. I can show you. I got some right here. Let me
Yeah.
see.
And if anyone has any questions, I see a few people putting them in chat, but go ahead and unmute yourself and ask a question when you're ready.
They have like this little,
Oh, they're beautiful.
yeah, they look like a candy.
Yeah, they look like Easter eggs, candy.
But you could like crack them and cook, like fry them like regular eggs.
Oh yeah, that's what I used to do, and they just for like less than a minute and they're ready. And they're actually special scissors because it's really hard to crack them open. So they have like little special scissors that look like little cigar cutters. So you just put the tip on the egg and just clip it,
Oh,
dump
interesting.
it. And I have actually right here, I'll show you. Let's see. I found those sometimes around, usually they lay the eggs all over the place. And so this is the regular one, you see?
Mhm.
And I found those things sometime. So tiny. Look
Wow.
at that.
Oh my goodness.
And some, maybe like once or twice a week, I have like a jumbo with the 2 yolks in it.
Yeah.
Big ones.
So
Yeah.
that one's probably almost like the regular, like a regular egg, like the big.
Like,
Not quite.
but it's still much smaller than the, maybe like three times smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's,
I have a question, if I may.
Sure. Go ahead.
This is Olga. So I also bought a oyster mushroom starter kit, and I've already harvested mushrooms once. And I was a little lazy with spraying them like 3 times a day. So after I harvested them, I feel like the logs dried a little bit. Is there a way to bring them back to life, or are they just like dried and cannot be, and I had to just start all over from coffee grounds?
should be, I think probably you can start again if you maybe open the back and mix them a little bit,
Oh, okay.
get something from the middle of the back.
I was
or just-
afraid to touch the thing.
Yeah, or you can
I was-
just start. I never saw those growing kits, how they look, or is like something like a bag or like a box?
Yeah, so it's basically a square-ish starter, which is a mixture. I assume, again, as I say, I was afraid to touch the whole thing. I was just harvesting mushrooms,
Yeah, yeah,
and it
yeah.
was easy to grow, but it comes prepackaged in the plastic bag and in the cardboard box, and you actually make like a little tent out of it, and you put a little plastic piece on top so it gets moist and humid in there, and then they start growing. You open them up, and yeah, so something like that.
Yeah, usually if you get some like a straw, let me see if I have a picture right here.
Yeah, it's just like what the pictures are showing
Mhm.
right now, but in a cardboard box, so you don't even have to get it out. You just raise the ends and tape them up, and you get like a greenhouse type of effect until the pins pop up, and then you open it up and let it grow.
Trying to see if I have right here, maybe like this. Because they have now on Island Lumber, but they have only the hay, like the same like we give to the horses right there.
Yeah, and you
But-
really want straw, right? Because the
Yeah,
hay
you
will
need,
grow
I'm
other
not sure if you
stuff.
can see this one, but it's the yellow stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
you-
a lot of times in gardens, unless you're really going to compost and it's really going to break down, you really
Yeah.
want to avoid hay because it tends to have seeds in it, and you never know what else is mixed in there. With straw, is
Yeah.
just dead straw. Nothing's
Yeah.
going to grow.
So you can, if you can find straw like this and just boil it for like 10 minutes to sterilize it. And after that, squeeze it really good from the water. And you can open this back and mix it with the straw. So the Marcelium have more food, you know, the fresh straw.
Mhm.
And they probably going to start growing again.
Oh, great.
in-
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You can probably split like 2 little bags, something like that.
Yeah.
And like this, you
Perfect.
can keep going and going, so you don't have to start from the beginning with the coffee grounds.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Mhm.
Someone wanted to know if you have any plans to sell the mushrooms you grow around to island restaurants.
I'm not sure if I'm gonna grow this much of them. Actually, my mushroom field, it's a huge right now. It's a really big one. So if they all start growing, I'm gonna have a bunch of them for sale. But I'm not sure about the restaurants. I know this friends of mine, Alden, I think he's selling some of the restaurants sometime if he have enough. But he's building I just saw they're building a huge house now on his property, right? Where was his mushroom field? I'm not
Oh
sure
no.
if he destroyed or still have it.
What happens? So what happens during the snow? Like we had these, 3-4 days of ice and snow. What happens to the mushrooms then?
They good. I mean, all this. If you planning to raising outside, all the inoculation should be at least they say 2-3 weeks before the temperatures drop like freezing temperatures. If you manage to do it like 2-3 weeks before that, they're good for the winter. And once they start growing, last spring they just start. I didn't put any fresh Marcelium right there. They just start growing, and they just start popping like 5-6 feet away from where I first planted them. So they growing under, the dead leaves and stuff. They just spreading all over the place.
Yeah. Someone wanted to know if the oyster mushrooms are cold hardy here. Are they okay in the cold?
The ones I got, I think I got the gray oysters for outside. They say that they growing good. This friends of mine, Alden, I used to buy oyster mushrooms from him. He used to sell them. He have the gray ones and the gold ones. There's like a few different kind of oyster mushrooms, but springtime and in the fall they grow a lot here. I didn't have luck now. I just inoculate my logs last spring, so I'm hoping this spring to get my first oyster mushrooms.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think I like the oyster mushrooms better than the wine caps.
Mhm.
They're more delicious.
Mhm. Any other questions? What questions do people have? Mushrooms or quail or chicken?
Bees. And last spring I plant a bunch of asparagus here.
Oh
And,
yeah, you have to build like a trench, right?
yeah. You dig a hole, you plant them really deep, and I think like 95% of them last spring showed up, and they was really tiny though. They say the first year don't touch them. So I let them grow, and hopefully now this spring I just have to be sure that I'm going to protect them from the rabbits, because I have like a dozen of them living in my property.
It's good living there for a rabbit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My father used to plant asparagus and he wouldn't cut it for 3 years. But my father died in 1984 and his asparagus is still growing.
Yeah. They grow for a long time,
40
year
years.
after year. Yeah.
Yeah,
The ones I got was already 2 years old. So that's gonna be last year 3, so it's gonna be 4th year.
Yeah.
Those plants. So I'm hoping to grill some this summer.
Well, and they grow like crazy, right? Like within, 24, 48 hours, you have more that have popped up, right?
I'm not sure how fast. I think what I was reading that you can harvest them like 4 times for a season, something like that. And they grow. This is the same guy with the mushrooms, Alden. The first time I tried fresh asparagus in his place, there was like 2.5, 3 feet tall asparagus and like an inch, huge one, and they taste really good, really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. And they'll spread, right? Will the asparagus spread?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Not sure.
Okay, so you got bees and quail and chicken and mushrooms.
And I have grapes too. There was the property I live. It's a Gardner McDonald. If you guys know Gardner McDonald, his father used to live here, 24 Madaket, and he used to have grapes and make wine from them. And the grapevines are still right there behind my chickens, but they was going wild. So for like 2 years in a row, this is the time actually, February, and 14th of February, the village my grandparents are from, it's like a holiday. It's it's lots of winemakers right there. My family, we're like 5 generations winemakers. We have acreages of grape right there, and we make almost like so it's gonna be like 400 gallons of wine and 100 gallons of we call it rakia. It's like grape brandy every year. So I start trimming those grapes here 2-3 years in a row, and they start producing again now. I got a little bit grapes last year, so I'm hoping for more this year. And
How many grapes do you need if you were going to make a bottle of wine?
Actually, last year I made how many? Like 4 gallons of wine, but I bought the grapes from the Stop and Shop.
Mhm.
So I used maybe like 15 pounds of grapes, something like that. And it's fun. It's fun to make. This year I made another one. It's you mix wine with a bunch of herbs and fruits and let it ferment for like a couple of weeks, and it's turned like a little bit of bitter wine kind of. It's called pilin, but usually have like 12 different herbs in it. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's the herbs are like medically good, but for drinking is good.
Tell us a little bit about, you've told me before, but tell us a little bit of what it was like when you were growing up, because you grew up kind of in like a city-ish area, but you'd visit your grandparents, right?
Yeah, we lived in the city right there, but my father, it's from region back in the country. It's a small village with lots of how to say vineyards, like one of the most rich soil for grapes growing right there. And my mom, she's from the southern part of the country. It's a little more remote kind of. That's why I used to go a bunch with my grandma collecting mushrooms, herbs, snails, everything. And from my father's side, my grandparents, that's we made the bunch of wine right there and this liqueurs and stuff. And it's not like a farm, but they have a bunch of chickens, pigs, couple of goats, and a donkey. Yeah. My mom's side, my grandfather, he was a beekeeper, and I used to help him like a kid. He was having like more than 100 beehives, bunch of them.
Yeah, if some are going to start, because I mean, what I see in you is a lot of patience and willing to try, and then there's the labor of just willing to get out there and have the tools and everything. So what do people need to keep in mind if they want to kind of live off the land as you're doing and start some of these projects? Like, what do people need to keep in mind?
Yeah, that was one of the things right here when I think I start with this, because it's on the island. You know, if something happened, I don't have a boat, so I have to stay here. And that's how I start with the veggie garden and the chickens and the quails and the mushrooms. And I make lots of pickled veggies and stuff. We make this traditional, it's like the sauerkraut you guys make here, but you make it like a shredded and let it ferment like in a little pot. We usually use like this last fall I use a 55-gallon bottle and I fill it halfway with the cabbage, and you just add like a brine, like salty water, and it took maybe like a couple of months to get ready.
Wow.
And I use it for cooking or salads and stuff. And I dry a lot of meats though. Let me see. I just found some of the pictures. I'll show you now. Actually, I'm gonna text it to you so you can share it.
Yeah, do it.
Let's see.
What's the way do you dry your meats? In a dehydrator or?
In the machine, I dry it. If I make like I make a lot of chicken jerky, and I just dry this in the machine like overnight. But usually the ones I'm gonna show you now, I dry them. Some of them week, some of them for like a month, and some of the stuff I make, I dry age them for like more than a year. I'll show you a couple of pictures now.
I imagine, and you're kind of self-taught and you learned from your family. Can you give us an example of a disaster you've had in trial and error?
With the meat or something?
Or just like growing stuff, like you tried to grow something and it just didn't work.
The only problems I have here it's the deer and the rabbits. That's the only big problem I have. They broke. I try so many different things. I guess I have to buy like a chicken wire or whatever they call it for the garden or something. They just broke everything. They just go and the rabbits dig a hole around, and all the time I go in the garden, there's like few of them running around.
Yeah, monsters.
And they wait like my lettuce to grow up a little bit, and then they go and eat it. I have a big accident actually this summer with my bees. There's friends of mine decide to get a couple of beehives. She want to learn, so we get a couple of beehives, and we put them in what was Strawberry Patch Farm, I think it's called. Ray is the owner. Ray, I'm not sure for his last name.
Oh, okay.
Pumpkin patch?
It's right. It's really close to me right here.
Oh, is it on Millbrook, like down that way?
If you take Milk Road down, it's gonna be on the right.
Okay.
Right there. And I went there I'm trying to let her, do everything herself, and I just sitting right there around and watch what she's doing. And I was lazy to take my gloves, so I went without gloves right there. And she started checking the bees, and I'm not sure what's happened. She dropped something. Everything happened so fast, and they just got crazy and attacked me, and I got stung like 10 10 times in my left hand and like 12 times in my right hand. I was like a Popeye. I couldn't go to work for like a couple of days. It was so bad.
Oh,
Yeah, that was the only accident I got with the bees. I got stung like once or twice, but not big a deal. But this time was really bad. Let me see those pictures where I put them. Oh, right here. This one. And this, I dried those down my basement, and it's kind of messy right there. You're gonna see now. Okay, this one. Let's see where I put that one.
oh, here it comes. Oh, I got it. Oh my gosh. Wait till you see this, everyone. You're in for a treat. Let's see.
And last year I made the prosciutto for first time.
Oh, wow.
Okay, does that work? There we go.
Ooh.
This one is in the basement.
Wonder if I
So
can-
those things
There you go.
in the bottom of the pictures, like the circle ones.
Cheese?
No, that's actually meat. This one, it's in. I'm not sure what it's called. I use only natural casings. It's like from part of the pork. I'm not sure. It's not pork belly. The pork stomach. It's a little bit smaller. I'm not sure how it's called, but those the circled one things. I just the picture I sent you that I cut one. Did you get the second picture?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yep,
Yeah.
hold on one second.
Yeah,
There we go.
this one is 1 year, like
Wow.
14 months old. This thing right here.
So that's like salami. It's like,
Kind of, yeah, traditional thing we make back home. So this thing, when I first make it, it's around 7-8 pounds, and after year and a couple of months, it's about 3 pounds only.
and what else? So what else is in there?
This one I make only from pork meat. This is only pork meat.
So there's nothing else in there, just pork.
Yeah, just pork. Yeah.
No spices?
And yeah, and spices, bunch of spices. Yeah. And I have to press it, to get this shape. Usually it's like a bowl. And right there I have like a dry smoked mackerel, bunch of pork loin fillets.
Is that
Actually,
what this in the middle is that looks almost breaded?
This one, that's right in the front of the fish. That's a pork loin.
Okay.
The tenderloins, the little ones.
Mm-hmm.
And also we make bunch of dry sausages back home. And they dry for like, depend of the mixture, usually maybe 2-3 weeks, something like that. Some of them take a month.
So you don't cook them at all. It's all just raw and it dries.
Yeah, all raw, and they just let them like this, and I just press them. Like when I hang them like this, after 2-3 days, I start press them every day for like I take like a bottle, like a beer bottle or something, and just roll them down to. I don't have any to show you now, but I just ordered today 200. I ordered 200 pounds pork today in Stop and Shop. It's coming this Thursday.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and make this prosciutto again. Turned out pretty good last year.
Yeah, that looks delicious. I mean, I don't know who here is a meat eater.
What is the name in Bulgarian of that, the round one, that
This one is called, from the region my mom is, the country, it's called Stranja. So it's called Stranjan Skudjado. It's like Stranja is the region, and the Djado mean like a grandpa. So it's like
Strado?
yeah.
Say it again, Strado what?
Stranjan Skudjado.
Stranjas Godiado. Wow.
Yes.
That looks
And
so
the
good.
every different region back home, they make stuff like this, but they use like a different type of herbs and spices. And let me see, I think I have one more picture I can show you.
And then you would eat this on, I mean, I see a lime there, but that might be for your beer. But if you,
Oh yeah.
but would you eat it with like cheese or bread or crackers or just on its own?
You usually you can fry some eggs. It's really good with some eggs, but mostly I like it with my wine.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah, we back home, it's like tradition. You nighttime you sit, you get yourself like a glass of wine, and you cut a couple of slices of that or some dry sausage. And we don't make like a jerkies back home. We dry like the huge. I have like now in the basement I have two. I don't have a picture though. Pork legs, but the whole thing, like the ham, like the rear egg, rear leg of the pig. Two of them, just that's my first time trying to dry the whole thing. We'll see.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I found this guy in Cape. He has a little farm right there. So I'm like 2-3 times already. I'm buying whole pigs from him, but the little ones, like 30-pounders. So I have a big smoker. I just smoke the whole thing right there
Oh my God.
in the smoker.
Bananas.
So many projects. So many
Let me show you this picture right here. This one.
Oops.
Those are some other traditional stuff.
This is just remarkable.
Yeah.
No, does it smell down there? Like, what does your basement smell like?
No, you can smell nothing. Just maybe some of the spices, because I rub the fillet, those pork loin, the tenderloins. I rub them in a bunch of spices, and that's probably the only thing you can smell.
Yeah.
Those are traditional sausages we make, and we boil them. And those are like a couple of inches diameter, big ones.
And what's this here?
That's the casings. That's the casings. I have to, because I buy them and they're really salted. They keep them in cover in salt. So I wash them and I put them in warm water for like 5 minutes. And it's much easier to stuff them after that. And you can see my grinder, my mixer, my stuffer. It's like a little factory.
Yeah, and then that's what preserves it. Is the casing has so much salt in it, it helps dry it out and it preserves the meat. So
no, actually, I wash it from the salt is just to keep the casings. You can put them in the fridge and they can stay for like a few years without nothing, And I just wash them from the salt, and whatever salt I put in the mixture, that's it. Yeah. And you got the other picture with the little tiny ones?
Yep.
Yeah, those are other
my God.
traditional sausages we make.
Wow, Alan, I'll try to zoom in here. There you go.
And those we grill. Those ones are just for the grill. And for those, the tiny ones, I use sheep casings. It's like traditional sausages we make back home too. Yeah, the Bulgarians guys here on the islands, sometimes when they have like a birthday parties or events, they call me and I make a bunch of them.
Is that pork filling too right there?
Yes, this is pork. Yeah, the beef, the only beef I use is for the dry sausages because it's more lean and it's dry much faster. And usually I have friend right here, last 3 years, he give me a deer every winter, but I didn't see him this winter, so I didn't get one. And I usually mix 50-50 deer meat with the pork to make those dry sausages. And the big chunks of deer leg, I trim it really good from the fat. And I dry like the whole thing and tastes really good.
Yeah, the deer meat you kind of do need to mix with something else, right? Because it tends to be really gamey. Or do you eat it on its own?
If I cook it, if I don't like it, the deer meat, if I just grill it or cook it itself, I don't like it. I have to mix it. I usually ground it with pork if I want to make like burgers or something. But if I dry the meat, like not like a jerky, but like those things I show you, like big chunks, and the deer meat is really good, really good. I just cover it with salt for like 72 hours, the whole thing. After that, I wash it from the salt and just put it in the fresh air, and it's dry really fast. The deer meat, it's so lean, maybe like less than a week, and it's good to go.
Wow.
And you can see my vacuum sealer right there next to the
Oh,
spices.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's up there, right?
Yeah.
Wow, you're all set up.
Yeah,
Great.
now I start using, I got a little box. It's like those Tupperware containers, but the big one, and it's made for the vacuum sealer. So every time I make like a steak for the grill, I marinate the steak, I put it in the box, and I vacuum seal it for like 24 hours, and then I go and grill it. And it's really good. And you can see the jar of honey behind it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's really dark,
Yeah. This one is
like molasses almost. Oh my goodness.
yeah. This honey is from those yellow, the goldenrod, I think it's called. The yellow flowers in the fall.
Goldenrod, yeah.
Yeah, usually it's really dark honey. The first harvest of honey in July is really light one from all the hedges around, I think. But this one, the second harvest in the fall, it's dark honey like this, and it's really good. Really good.
Can't believe it. Look at how dark that is. Wow.
Well, good. We're just about at time. Does anyone have any more questions or comments for Mitko?
This was fascinating. Thank you so much. Oh my God. Wow.
I want to ask about, do you make mead from honey? Do you make alcohol beverages from your honey?
The only thing I used it's I try for this grape brandy I made. Usually you have to add sugar to ferment, and my father told me that they used to add honey, so that's what I tried once. I think I have, let me see, a picture of my brandy making. Right here, let me see, album videos.
And everyone just showed up for mushrooms.
I learned so much more.
I'll I'll send you now a video. I'm not sure if it's.
Okay. It should play if it comes through. It might take a minute.
Here we go.
In the meantime, I will plug next week. We're not having a Yummy Monday. We're going to have a film discussion led by Mo Moore and Brooke Moore. Not related, spelled differently. So next week we're taking a week off from Yummy Monday, but you can check out our website for what's coming up. And then March 1st, I'm not sure exactly what she's doing, but we have Cavell Madison, and she's great. She cooks with a lot of local ingredients. She cooks really healthy food. So she loves working with sustainable local ingredients. So that's going to be worth checking out. That's going to be March 1st. Okay, let me share my screen here. Let's see.
This thing is look like those things in Discovery Channel. They show up the people in the backwoods of Kentucky are dealing with.
Oh, there we go.
But-
Okay.
He's made a still, and it looks like in Turkey, like a Turkish coffee pot. Yeah.
It does look like a Turkish coffee pot. Wow.
Making Rocky.
And this one is my cooling station right here with the pump from aquarium for fish. So I have like cold water circulating all the time. So this one it's a small unit. It's 5 gallons. So when I load this one, 5 gallons of material, I'm getting around a gallon of liquor, something like that. And it's like 110 proof coming. So you have to dilute it with sterilized, like what is distilled water.
Still.
Mhm.
Yeah, to make it.
And what is that made from?
This one is a copper.
Yeah, but I mean, what is it you're using for the ingredient to make it?
Oh, the ingredients. I used one of my neighbors have a huge pear tree, so I got a bunch of pears and
Yes.
but
mhm.
I made it, but
From wild bears.
I'm not big fan of it. But my favorite is the grapes.
It's amazing.
Bunch of grapes. It's usually you can make it from anything organic, like any fruit. You can make it, if you like strawberries, you can make it from strawberries. It's gonna have the like little tiny kind of taste of strawberry. Everything. You can use grain, you can make like whiskey or gin or rum, whatever you want.
Wow.
And I got this unit online. It's shipped from Portuguese,
Portugal.
and it's cost me like with the shipping around 400 euros. So it's like what is like
Expensive
450,
holiday.
500 bucks. And I ordered it and like it took 2 days to come from Europe. It was so fast.
Amazing.
And we use similar like this back home when we brew, but it's like almost 150 gallons, big unit,
Mhm.
because we have a bunch of grapes right there. And when we harvest the grapes, sometimes we have like maybe 3 tons of grapes. So we make a bunch of wine and liquors and stuff.
Great. All right. Well, I think I'm going to wrap us up there. I'll quickly put my email in the chat in case anyone has any questions. And can I do 2 things at once? And we're going to be posting this on YouTube. So if you want to watch it again, you're welcome to. And yeah, stay tuned for more Yummy Mondays. And thank you so much, Mitko. This was great.
Oh, you're welcome.
So
Good
much.
to see you guys.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Bye.
It's going to be on YouTube. I'm going to.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna watch it again. Wow, I can't wait.